Samia Mohammed, and here is a presentation on my career journey. Here's my father, Abdurrahman Mohammed. Here's my mother, Mona Naji. She is from Yemen, and my father is from Somalia. He was a sailor, and my mother is a stay-at-home mom. And this is me at a young age. I was born at Addis Ababa. After the civil war that happened in Somalia, my family moved to Ethiopia, migrated there for safety, and my father was a sailor, so he traveled back and forth. But at the age of 1, my father passed away, and my mother was then forced to have to be the sole provider in the family, and her bearing that burden has opened my eyes up to how strong she is and how dedicated she was to make sure that we had a great life, and that this didn't hold us back. After another year, my mother moved to Nairobi, Kenya, to have more opportunities at work and not have as much struggle with the language. Here's one of my cousins that my mom took on. My father and my mom had 2 kids together, and my father had 3 other kids with his previous wife. And so I have, and then my mother took on 3 of my cousins that lost 2 of their parents. So we left Ethiopia with 3 of my cousins and my older brother. Here's me, and then after being there until I was 6, and my mother remarrying, and having my younger brother, my oldest sister from my father's first marriage, sponsored us to come to the U.S., and that was one of the best things that's ever happened to me. I was able to learn the English language and be able to go through the entire school system, and had many opportunities in terms of education. That led to me graduating, and one of my mom's proudest moments, because all her hard work paid off. She worked 3 jobs to make sure that we had food on the table, that all our needs were met, and that we didn't stress about where the money was going to come from, but our main focus was going to be on our school. And this was a moment that let my mother know that we made it. And here's my cousin also graduating some years before me. This is my sister Halima, who sponsored us to come to the U.S. Without her, we wouldn't be where we are now and have had the opportunities that we have now. My grandmother, my mother, my aunt, they've all are pillars in my family and have been there to support me throughout all my hardships and my triumphs. Here again, more pictures of my high school graduation. Over here is my oldest brother Mustafa, and then my younger, my mother, and my stepdad. They have always been there to help me, guide me, to let me know that it's okay to try things, but to know that I should set myself up, and that now that I've graduated high school, I need to really think about my future and what that means, and that they really would like for me to look into going towards becoming a lawyer, a doctor, an engineer, because those are careers that will forever be, and other careers, you never know, the world's ever changing. So I went into my undergrad thinking that I was going to become a doctor, and after a year in, I realized that that wasn't the right career path for me, and it was very hard on my family for a while, but they finally came to terms with it, knowing that I did suffer from anxiety throughout my undergrad, and how hard it was for me to work through that. Being the second to youngest, I always knew that I had so much to some big shoes to fill, and so I had no choice but to set an example by going to school for my younger brother as well. And work during that time was pretty much trying to figure out what I can do if in the psychology realm, where I really wanted to go, what demographic I wanted to work with. And so during my undergrad, I did do a lot of exploration. My family was not very fond of that. They really wanted me to change my major again back to being a bio major, pre-med, but I was very much dead set on what I wanted. I grew up always seeing my mother work hard and sacrifice her youth, and I've always looked up to her. And I am a person who always brings my work home with me and has attracted my ability to maintain my relationships. This has led me to make changes on the kind of work I bring home, such as when I meet somebody that just has a lot going on in their lives, it's hard for me not to want to help that person. Here is a picture of my colleagues at one of my first retail jobs. They have become really close friends of mine because we work through a lot of hardships. Working in retail is not an easy task to do, but it taught me to be patient. It taught me to listen to my clients, to build rapport, and to work closely with my colleagues and to trust them. My second job was being a community activities coordinator at a memory care unit in Edina. I worked with the geriatric population who suffered from dementia, and it just taught me a lot about life and wanting to support those in need and being there and being an advocate, just diving more into what I learned in school and actually applying it in the real world. So again, that solidified my decision to go into psychology. I also did a study abroad during my junior year in Greece, and it was amazing to see things through another lens, to see how people lived, the life, just the school system, the ways that they build relationships, their interactions. 4 months being there has been a blessing, and I'm so grateful for my time. This led me to wanting again to pursue more opportunities and careers in the mental health field. And at this time, I worked as an arms worker and a mental health practitioner. And here's a picture of one of my cousins who became an engineer, and while I was doing that, I remember my aunts coming to me and saying like, hey, look, he became an engineer, why don't you, it's never too late to change your career, like you can always add a few more classes and get like a similar degree. And it was very much discouraging, but I realized that like I had to stick to what I wanted and prove to them that this is really important, because again, mental health is seen as being taboo, and people in my religion and culture believe that like if you're very much connected with God, that all things will work out. Like you have to have faith, pray, talk to him, and that God doesn't give you any more than what you can handle. And though that's true, there's still things that people need to acknowledge in terms of mental health. Like that doesn't make you any less of an individual. So it just made me be that much more passionate about it. The relationship between work and other factors in my life has always brought me dilemma. I've always relved my work ethic and the different ideas of teaching my coworkers and myself and like my colleagues to success. But over the years, I've realized that it is important to also be present with my family and friends and my other habits. Work at one point in my life became the one thing that I do for 24/7, and I detached myself from the rest of the world just because I felt like I really had to prove something. But later on, learned that like I just had to be myself, and sooner or later my family was gonna come to support me because they see that this is something that's very important to me. Here are the jobs that led me to want to be a counselor. I was an adult rehabilitative worker, and that I really enjoyed talking to people and giving them skills in dealing with their different diagnoses. I just really want to work with individuals and help them find that balance in their life, their work-life balance, their ability to gain the skills, find somebody that can really understand what they're going through through, have that support system, know that they're not alone in this process. And I just want to give back to my community and be somebody that they can come to and see that, hey, she has the same values and norms as me and looks similar to me, and I can trust her with what I'm going to say and not feel like I'm putting down my family name.